Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hit List Podcast, the show where Pokemon nostalgia meets today's collecting culture. And back with us for this wonderful Tuesday episode is Captain Jack.
Always a pleasure. I'm glad to be back. Ready to rock and roll. Let's get to it.
Glad to see you and Kaylin are back to being able to have some time after this wonderful store opening. Glad it's going great. And
yeah, it's nice to catch our breath for a second. Yeah. But yeah, it's going excellent. And yeah, I'm excited to get caught up with you, man.
All right, we got some stuff to dive into, so let's do it.
It's like he just has shock value with everything he hears. Like that's his initial reaction to everything. So when he like immediately was like, "Oh, we're going there," huh? I just thought it was kind of funny.
Meanwhile, he says some wild stuff
Yeah,
too.
then he realizes he's like in that room and in that realm, and so he just like he'll come back at you with some stuff. Yeah.
All right, so we are.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hit List. My favorite day of the week. Hanging out with Big Mike.
We are back with Captain Jack. We are back to shenanigans, and we are back to where we began. Chaos.
Back where we began. Still learning as we go. Well, we say that, but our memory retention must be pretty off because we just keep every week. We're like, man, we really don't know what we're doing.
Well, what's funny is I think you've used a different camera and different angle every single week you've been on.
Hey, I like to keep people on their toes, man. You know, I got to make sure.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't want our audience to get bored. You know, they got to have a new setting every time. Eventually, I'm going to be like out by Niagara Falls or something. I need to get one of those
on vacation.
I need to get one of those green screens that I can just change the backdrop to like space or something or whatever. Whenever
I could do that on post editing. I can change whole background.
Totally do that.
Now, I actually had a wild comment yesterday. I was on a job site and I was talking to a coworker who was there who hadn't seen me in a while. He's like, dude, I listen to your podcast. I listen to it on my way home. I really love it.
I remember when I was first starting to stream locally and I was just in a Walmart and random kids would run up and they're like, they knew me as Captain Jack from the Poke Post and they would know about Pokemon cards. I literally had kids come up asking me to like sign energy cards for them and stuff. And it was like the weirdest out of place experience for me because I just didn't think it was like that deep, you know? But yeah, it's a cool feeling though, isn't it? Like knowing that you're reaching out and touching people and letting them know that, or not letting them know, but like they know that they enjoy and they take what you say genuinely, and that you're really providing them with some information that maybe they wouldn't find somewhere else, and they appreciate you for it. So
get feedback that we're accomplishing our goal.
What really would have been great is if he came up and he's like, "Your podcast sucks. I hate you guys. Like you guys are the worst."
I mean, that would have been real feedback, but for the most part, people just comment and say that we don't know what we're talking about or that we're clearly new collectors.
So today I wanted to talk about Phantasmal Flames because it drops in like a week and a half. And I did see the comments on the last video when we talked about Phantasmal Flames set size and comparison to Obsidian Flames. And the difference is that when we're talking one-to-one with Japanese, you have to remember in Japanese, when they say unique card sets, Japanese doesn't have reverse holos. So like they literally have just the base set with no reverse holos plus the secret rares. But you also have to remember that there are times where Japan doesn't have specific illustration rares in their sets that came out as like promos for them that we get in our English sets because we never got them. For instance, the Meowth illustration rare and the Wooper illustration rare in Phantasmal Flames, those are not in Inferno X in Japan. Those are event promos that they get in Japan. So it's a little different when you're talking set sizes one-to-one. It's just more of a general comparison for you to kind of have an idea of what to expect when it comes to pull rates and just how many secret rares will be in the set and things of that nature. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the important things with the phrase one-to-one doesn't necessarily mean exactly the cards are one-to-one. A lot of them are, as he said, with a few exceptions. But when we say one-to-one, we mean there is one set that's primarily for the English set. So, as we've said, Ruler of the Black Flame is one-to-one to our English Obsidian Flames, that does not mean they're the same cards. They are for the base set, but as you've said, there are a couple additions in there. Um, it's funny that, you know, I go on, you know, TikTok and I see people talking about how Phantasmal Flames is one of the smallest sets we've had in a while, as if we didn't talk about it 2 weeks ago. Now it's acceptable that it is, which is
Yeah.
fine because it's a fact. But, you know, I'm not saying we know what we're talking about by any means. We're just two guys chilling, but we do want to make sure our terminology is understood by people who listen. And this isn't a call out to that comment at all. It was a good comment. We appreciate it. But when it comes to one, perhaps we can be a little more clear that 1-to-1 means set name to set name. When we're looking at 2-to-1, which is another option, you can look at Wild Force and Cyber Judge, which is temporal forces, or even 3-to-1, where you're looking at Raging Surf. What was the other two?
Future Flash and Ancient Roar.
Yeah, an Ancient Roar. That is a 3-to-1 set, which is not very common. And there's actually one other way that this can be done as well, where you actually have almost like a 1.5-to-1, where some of the set is actually part of another set. So you can see that more recently in the 3 sets of Mask of Change, Crimson Haze, and Night Wanderer, which make up some of Twilight and some of Shrouded Fable. It happens from time to time there too, and it's not an exact science of how they're going to do it. I mean, we just saw with Black Bolt and White Flare the first time in history where the Japanese set names matched the English set names along with all the cards that were included. So this isn't this is not a consistent thing, but there are some trends that we do follow, and that is where the terminology we use comes from.
Yeah, and again, like, we love the comments and engagements, and I don't think that comment was meant to be any certain way. I think that comment was more of just confusion. Like, they were genuinely just like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't quite make sense because I thought this versus this. But that's kind of what we were alluding to there. It's just the general idea of Japanese sets and how they translate to an English set, and then you can kind of gauge. It's the same as when you look at like cards that drop in Japan a month early and you find out which cards are the most valuable, right? Like, you can kind of expect those to be the most valuable in English when we get it in English. It's the same idea, same concept. It's just more of an idea of like letting you know if you're trying to master this set, it's probably going to be a little bit easier because there's not 3 Japanese set in our 1 English set. It's just 1 Japanese set in our 1 English set.
Well, speaking of Phantasmal Flames, you did a pre-release event, did you not?
Yes, I did. I did terrible. I got the Sarah Ledge deck, and they had some good synergy there. It had like Fire Breather with it, which Fire Breather is the new supporter we get that lets you search your deck for 7 fire energy and put them in your hand. So Sarah Ledge, if you don't know, does like 220 damage, but you can only use the attack if you discard 4 fire energy from your hand. So the synergy is you use Fire Breather, go get your energy, attack with Sarah Ledge, and get rid of the energy. But yeah, so I played Sarah Ledge, and you discard 4 energy, you do 220 damage. The problem is they gave you like 0 ball search in the pre-release kits this time around.
Hmm.
So no Buddy Poffins, no Nest Balls. You got like 2 Ultra Balls in the whole kit. So I lost 2 games because I simply didn't have anybody on my bench. Like, I literally just had 1 Sarah Legend play, and it got knocked out, and I lost. So that's whatever. But it was fun because I did pull a 1/1/1 line of the Mega Charizard EX, which I did get to use in the 1 game I won. You can imagine the only game I won, how it happened. I got my lone Zard out. But it was fun. So the reason I want to talk about pre-release, though, first of all, if you guys have not been to a pre-release, I highly recommend that you just give it a shot and go. It's super casual. It's super fun. If you don't know how to play, everybody there basically doesn't know how to play as well. So you're all kind of learning together. And it's a very dumbed down version of the game. The way a pre-release works is you get a pre-release kit that has a 40 card deck that's pre-built for you. And then you get 4 extra booster packs on top of that. So then what you do is you take your 40 card pre-built deck, you open your 4 extra packs, and whatever you pull from your 4 packs, you can kind of use to quote unquote upgrade your pre-made deck and make the best deck you can make. And then you play 3 rounds. At the end, in like 90% of pre-release events, you get 3 extra packs of the new set that dropped. So you're essentially getting 7 packs for like $30, which is pretty awesome in this current market and where we at in the space. You're getting 7 packs at $30, and it's scalper free for the most part, from what I've seen, because scalpers can't scalp pre-release events because you get one kit, everybody gets one kit, and you have to play all 3 games to get your extra packs at the end. And scalpers don't want to stick around and do that crap because they're just in it for the money. So it's just a really safe space, fun place to go, learn how to play the game. You have a lot of fun. You get to open new set 2 weeks early in most cases. Sometimes pre-release events will be like a week early. If you don't know where one might be near you, you can go to PokemonPlay.com and say find events near me, and they will let you know what's in your area where you can go to do a pre-release event. But with that, obviously, you're going to have some people that go to pre-release events and they pull the big chase cards. And when that happens, these cards are now out there in the market 2 weeks early before the set releases. But they're very scarce because only one person out of every pre-release event of 40 to 60 people is going to end up pulling the SIR Charizard. So what they do is they go out on eBay and they put it up for $2,000 and hope someone bites. I want to be very clear on this. Do not ever buy singles pre-set drop. Do not do it. It goes right back to the FOMO message that we talked about before, and it's not a good idea. Specifically for this set, I want to talk about it because of how small it is. For reference, there's 5 special illustration rares in this set. 5. There's 6 in Japan because of the Oricorio, but we get the Oricorio in our UPC. Okay? In typical fashion, a SIR is pulled 1 out of every 2 booster boxes. Okay? A case of booster boxes is 6 booster boxes. If there's 5 SIRs in the whole set, half of the SIRs in the set are being pulled from 1 case of booster boxes. Okay? So if you're tracking with me, you've got to open 2 cases and you got a pretty good shot at getting every SIR in the set. In reference to that, most stores and LGSs get allocations of anywhere from 40 to 60 cases on release week. This market's going to be flooded with SIRs. I would not be shocked if the Charizard SIR is going to be a $80 to $100 card max by the time everything settles. So if you go out and you spend $1,500 on an SIR Charizard off rip before the set even drops, you're going to feel real silly 2 weeks later when it ends up being like an $80 card that you could have got, for way cheaper. And that goes across the board for every SIR in this set because there's so few of them. The pull rates, from what I've seen, are 1-for-1 with Mega Evolution. They're practically the same. The booster boxes are still hitting 3 to 4 illustration rares a box. It's still 1 SIR every other box. Just I caution you heavily to not go out and buy singles. And I'm again speaking specifically to this set because of how small it is. But I would use that as a general rule of thumb just in any set moving forward. Do not buy singles before a set drops or pre-sale ever. Always wait, let the market cool off, let everything settle. Don't buy into the FOMO. You will have a chance to get the card you want at a cheaper price than what you would pay for it 2 weeks early because someone pulled it from the pre-release. Just don't do it.
And as Kaylin and I talked about in the last episode, and Jack and I have talked about it a few times as well, the pre-release decks, these build and battle kits, are a great way to get some of the, we'll call it premier, not EX cards from these sets as an alternate art that you can only get from these decks.
That's true. I forgot about that.
So even though they're not super pricey, I collect the sealed decks. I have quite a few of them. They're not super valuable by any means. I have a couple that have gone up a lot. I know one that's absolutely insane, take this how you will, is the Vivid Voltage Charizard. That one's absurd. That's a pre-release promo that's, I think, 80 for one.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Because the Japanese version was in the set. And that's one of the other things is you'll get almost all the cards in Japanese that you will in English, but you might get them in a different way. So I know for Mega Evolutions, one of the alternate arts you could get was a Meganium. That Meganium, I believe, is available in Mega Evolution just as is. I've seen it before with, as I said, the Charizard from Vivid Voltage is a card you can get from the Japanese equivalent set. I don't remember. I think it's Amazing Volt Tackle or something like that.
Volt Tackle? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just in the set as a regular rare. But that's the cool part about it is you can find these in English, but they'll only be from these build and battle kits, which a lot of the times after pre-release weekend, nobody really goes for them and they sit on shelves for a long time. I know in my LCS up here, we have a ton of build and battle kits from Journey Together. Just as many as you could want. You could just go and get them, and there's some pretty cool ones from that. I know the Iona's Kilowatt was a really cool alternate art card from those build and battle kits. I have one, and they're always stamped too. So, going back to the big increase in interest in stamped promos, you can go and get a really cool stamped alternate art promo from these sets. I'm looking at these 4 build and battle promos from this Phantasmal Flames. All 4 are excellent. They are very well done arts.
Yeah.
I know, just to give you an idea, you can typically go to your LCS, and a lot of them, I'm not saying the Minty Gem by any means will have them, or I'm not, for you Pennsylvania viewers, I don't know if the Vault or a guy on the couch is going to have these for sure, but I know I've gone in and told them, like, hey, look, I collect these build and battle decks sealed. If anybody gets these and doesn't want them and turns them into you guys, I'd be happy to get them from you. They don't sell them for a ton. Uh, like I know I went in and I told them, hey, I really collect these, and they went in and said, hey, we got a bunch of these Mega Evolutions ones in. People just wanted the packs, gave us the decks back, and they gave me all 4 for $10.
That's sick.
Um,
We used to do something like that, but then all the people on TCG players started buying our pre-release promos, and so we didn't have any left in the store. We do still have building battles in the store, though. I see them every day. I saw Destin Rivals building battle on the shelf the other day.
yeah, I've seen a lot of those. That I've talked about how I was disappointed that they didn't do alternate arts
Yeah,
on those, but they did do the
yeah,
really cool Cosmos Holo promo at least. So that's cool. But yeah, if you go into your store and you see build and battle boxes and see you only get 4 packs for what is it, $30, 35, you can still get a really cool pre-built deck, which I wouldn't recommend starting playing that way. But if you get another friend to go with you, you can play with this style. Play the pre-release style. I've done that with my friends. We've gone in and we each get a build and battle kit and basically do our own little pre-release event. And
yeah. It's a lot of fun.
it's a fun, quick way to play. Um,
Yeah,
there
and it's
are
a. Sorry, go ahead.
no, there are slightly different versions of the decks I've noticed. So if you get you're going to be able to use whatever pre-release promo you get. It'll work. But the deck itself behind it might be a little bit different. Like Jack, you said you got uh the Cerulege. There might be 2 different energy versions of it I've seen. Like,
Yeah, they stopped doing that.
oh, they did? That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so all if you get a certain promo, it's all standard across the board. Everybody, if you get a Sarah Ledge, you get the same deck as the other person that pulls Sarah Ledge. It's all static across the board now. Um, but yeah, pre-release events are a great way to get your feet wet for like going to actual live play is what I would recommend. Like Mike said, maybe don't start learning the game that way because it'd be better to go to like a live event and kind of have an idea of what you're doing, you know. But if you just want to like get your feet wet for like what the feel of a live event is like and playing in person, then it's a great place to go and start doing that. Also, to Mike's point, the 4 packs, you might see that and be like, I don't know if I just want 4 packs. The pre-release kits are usually loaded. Typically, the pre-release kits are for a new set that drops, and Pokemon wants all the hype out there, and so every pre-release kit's going to have at least 1 hit or pull from it, and most of the time you'll get 2, and they load those things up. And I'm not saying that as like a conspiracy theory. I think like 99% of the community would agree with me that pre-release events and pre-release kits are typically have pretty good pull rates.
Yeah, I've noticed that for sure. Not necessarily, like you said, it's not necessarily you're going to go and get one and guarantee yourself an
Right.
SIO, but you might guarantee yourself an EX. You might guarantee yourself an illustration rare. It's a lot better pull rates, especially the first run of them that they put out. Uh,
I
it,
remember Paradox Rift. Like every build and battle kit I saw had like either a full art or a illustration rare in it. Every single one I've ever seen opened. It was nuts.
that's still to this day. I know a lot of places up here still have a ton of build and battle stadiums,
Mm.
which are no longer something they're doing.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's sad because those are a
yeah,
lot of fun. You want to talk about like having your own pre-release event? Those are perfect for that. You just go grab a build and battle kit, and you and your buddies can play. And then you can use the extra packs in the kit as like prize packs for whoever wins, and just make it kind of interesting, you know. And
yeah,
those were
absolutely.
awesome. I love those products. I wish they brought those back.
I'm sure they will at some point. As we've talked about, everything with Pokemon is a bit cyclical.
Yeah, that's true.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some version of it come back. I mean, we saw it in Sword and Shield, we had it where, you had, what was it, 4 extra packs in it. And then in Scarlet and Violet, they dropped it to 3.
Yeah,
But uh, I once again, I don't know if that's your best way to learn this game, just because the game is a little bit different. Um, I think it goes back to playing on TCG Live, or just going to an event in person, and all the people there are going to be more than willing to help you. This isn't it's not really an aggressive crowd that plays
mm-hmm.
this. They want more people to play, because as we've talked about, the primary demographic of people that are collecting Pokemon are collectors, not players. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that have collected the cards and not really thought about the game at all, and just said, "Oh man, I mean, I saw there was stuff on it, but I never really thought about, yeah, this is an actual game that people play."
Yeah, no, you're spot on there. Yeah, it's super casual, and like I said, most of the people there are also learning, and so you get to kind of learn together. And I you know what was interesting? I went to the Mega Evolution pre-release, and they had a line like out to the parking lot for that one. Like it was super. And so I was expecting the same thing for Phantasmal Flames. There was less people at Phantasmal Flames than Mega Evolution. And I'm curious if people just were like anticipating it being overly crowded. It just said, screw it, I'm not going to go. Or I don't know what happened. But there was easily 20 less people or so at my Phantasmal Flames pre release than the Mega Evolution one, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I on my Discord for my local shop, when even Destined Rivals, the signups we're trying to get spots, we're trying to have another event, we're trying to do
Yeah.
this. But I didn't see any of that for this one. It was what it was. It says here's signups, and that was the last I heard about it. So yeah, it's obviously pre-release events happen 1 to 2 weeks, sometimes both, if there's enough product before the actual release. As Jack said, the prices of the cards you pull are going to be at their highest for a long time, probably until they're no longer printed. I know when I did the Destined Rivals one, I pulled a illustration rare Shaman, which everybody thought was going to end up being a very playable card, and it didn't really pan out like people thought it would. And that card was, I think, $50, and it's nowhere near that. I think it's 10 now.
Yeah. But
Um,
that's also one I could easily see going back up over
it
time.
could, but
That's crazy how Shaman didn't really pan out. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's gonna end all the sniping," and yeah, that's kind of funny. Um,
sniping kind of ended itself. I don't see it much anymore.
yeah,
But one of the
I got something I'm cooking though.
what do you got?
Um, so there's a new supporter that comes out in Phantasmal Flames called Grimsley's Move, and what it does is you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and any dark Pokemon you find there, you can put it on your bench. Here's the kicker: any dark Pokemon.
Hmm.
So you can get a Hydreigon EX in the top 7 and put it straight onto your bench. So I'm using that with Cinderace from Mega Evolution, which is the one that you can play in the active if it's in your hand or in your opening hand. For
Hmm.
1 colorless energy, you hit for 50 and go get 3 energy and put them on your bench. So you Grimsley the Hydreigon on the bench, hit with Cinderace, go get 3 energy, throw it on the Hydreigon, and boom, you've got Obsidian ready to rock by turn 2. It's it's crazy, but it does flop. You have to go first in most cases. But I'm messing with it. I shout out to Azul. He's the one who kind of gave me the inspiration for what I've been cooking up. But Azul TG, if you guys don't know, he's one of the main professional players. Always cooking up new stuff. Has a lot of good information when new sets drop for deck ideas and stuff like that. If you ever want to check him out. Um, but yeah, so there's a lot of fun kind of gimmicky things coming out with the mega stuff, kind of as you'd expect. But it is nice to kind of change up the meta, but it's also kind of like is it really that impactful? Because most everybody's still just running around with Gardevoir and Dragapult. I mean, they're too good. There's I literally played Dragapult. My buddy Caleb was running Dragapult, and I had him like on the ropes with my Absol deck, literally 2 to 6 prizes, and he came all the way back, and he found a way to beat me. Running Dragapult Dusknoir, it's just too broken. It's crazy, man. It's just nothing they've dropped recently really seems to impact the meta.
So one of the things, I mean, especially today, we've talked about quite a bit. I wanted to bring up, let's do like a little intro to playing for people. Let's talk about what they need to get started. We've talked about ways to not get started into this, and we've talked about playing TCG live. But if you really do want to get into playing in person, there's a few materials and a few things you need. And I think it's important if we give our audience a really great way to get started. uh, so let's dive into just what it takes to become a in-person player. It doesn't take much. I don't want to scare anybody away here, but we want you guys to be able to be prepared with the right materials so you go in, have what you need, and feel confident going to play your first game with your friends.
Yeah, so basically what you want to do is take advantage of all the resources we've already discussed, like TCG Live and stuff. Make sure that you have a very good understanding of how the game works. It's just going to make it easier on you and your opponent when you show up to a live event. You're going to want to play mat. You can get play mats relatively cheap. You can get nicer play mats with specific designs on them if you want. I know there's a website called fullmetalergy.com where I got a Giratina playmat that has Giratina from the Lost Origin alternate art by Shinji Kanda. Just
Beautiful.
it was like $35, which is kind of honestly a little pricier than most mats,
I was gonna say
but it's still
that's probably the top end for a mat, but I mean
yeah,
that
but
sounds like a
still
beautiful mat.
if $35 is the most you have to spend to get a nice mat you really want, it's really not that bad, you know. But if you're not wanting to go that route and you're just learning how to start, yeah, just any playmat from like the Crown Zenith collection boxes. Most play stores have like millions of those Marnie Morpeko playmats just laying around. You could probably borrow at the pre-release, but you can find them in UPCs. You can find them in collection boxes. If you can't find them there, you can buy a mat for like $5 to $10, just depending on the brand and where you get it from. But you definitely want to play mat because there's a lot of people at these events. There's a lot of traffic going through those tables. You don't know who's been sitting there before you and what could be on the table. So you want to make sure you have a nice mat to put down to make sure your cards are kept in a good condition. You're going to need sleeves. I recommend Dragon Shield sleeves. Typically, you can get a box. Excuse me. Typically, you can get a box of Dragon Shield sleeves for anywhere from $11 to $13, depending. I like the dual mat sleeves. Perfect.
These are
Thank you, Mike. They have matte sleeves and they have dual matte sleeves. The dual matte sleeves have like a black inner lining on the inside and they are a little bit thicker. Those are the sleeves I prefer, but they're also like $2 more. It's really up to you.
right
Thank
on
you,
the
Mike.
bottom. It says what it
Yeah,
is.
Glacier. Yeah, dude, I used to run Lugia with those Glacier sleeves. Those are some nice sleeves, brother.
I should have some
Um,
around. Keep talking. I'll find
yeah,
some.
so if you don't like the dual mats, or you just don't want to pay the extra $2, you can get the regular matte sleeves. They're just as good. They just don't have that black inner lining on them. But if you don't like Dragon Shield, there are other options. What is the one Mike starts with a K? Fairly popular. I'm having a brain fart.
Really?
Kabuto sleeves or something like that.
I can't remember. I pretty much exclusively use Dragon Shields.
Yeah, me too.
Um, just they're realistically, I'm seeing the max price I typically see for dual mats is like 15, and the
Yeah.
max price I see for regular mats are, I don't know, like 11 to 12. They're not very much. I mean, they come with 100, so you have extras. What I usually tell people to do is if you like a color, go ahead and get 2 of them, because at that point with a 60 card deck, you would have enough for 3 decks. 200 total sleeves, 3 decks at 180, and you'd still have some extras. I will say what's really nice about Dragon Shields versus ETB sleeves, which I'm sure most people tell you just don't use them. But what's nice is you can shuffle them very, very easily. You can grip them very
Yeah.
easily. All of them now have a textured back to them. I have some older ones that don't, and they're glossy on the back, and they were okay. but you can shuffle these and any way you want. And I haven't had any issues with damage to my cards, and I certainly haven't had any issue with damage to my sleeves. So you don't
Uh,
necessarily
Katana was the other one.
katana.
Katana, yeah. But I want to make it clear too. Mike and I are not sponsored by Dragon Shield or anything like that. So we're not just trying to cover Dragon Shield's ass. We when we talk about sleeves, we're not sponsored by anybody for that matter.
No,
But yeah, we just want to make it clear that these are our opinions and ours and our alone. But yeah, I think Mike and I both would agree that Dragon Shield is probably the top tier. And when you show up to a pre-release event, the store will have Dragon Shield sleeves for sale in the shop. So if you don't have any and you just want to grab some before the event starts, you can just pick some up right there by the counter.
yeah, and I encourage you, if you go and try Dragon Shields and you don't really like them, there's plenty of other options out there. I know I've seen some special edition like Gengar sleeves from Ultra Pro. Ultra Pro's been in the game of card protection for sports and for Pokemon for such a long time. I would trust those as well. Katana. Uh,
Quiver.
what'd you say?
Quiver is another one.
Okay. But yeah, there's plenty of options out there. Find what works for you, but make sure you sleeve your cards. Don't be the guy that goes out with a deck full of SIRs and riffle shuffle them. We've all seen it, makes us all cringe. Don't do it.
That's hilarious. I literally played against a guy who was running Lost Box, and he had an Alt-Art Giratina in his deck, and he was doing that, and I was just like, what am I looking at right now? I about had a heart attack, dude. I was about to crash out so hard. He didn't care, though. He's like, well, I don't care. What am I going to do? Tell my kids one day I had this card? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe sell it in like a year and a half for your kids' college fund? I'm like, Jesus.
One of the other
Crazy.
things that's really important about building your deck, and with the alt art Giratina, it's a great way to put it. You do not need to have any form of alternate art in your deck. There is no benefit to doing it. It is just if you want to bling out your deck. So if you want to, that's fine. I know in my Turbo Turtle deck that I play, I have a gold Terapagos because I found it. I only have one, and it would probably drive somebody who is bothered by different things to have two different Terapagoses, but I do. You don't need whatever you have, put it in there. The whole point of this, I was talking to a guy who was a very competitive Magic player for a long time, and he loved the game. And one of the things he said he actually really appreciated about Pokemon was that you can build yourself a competitive deck for under $50 versus in Magic where there isn't really a alt art. The best card is the best card. Where you're getting it, you're putting it in. So there's cards that are, 50, $60 that you just have to have in your deck, where in Pokemon, at least as of right now, the most expensive common card you see in your deck is probably Fez at 15. And there's one in most people's deck. So as long as you have one, you're okay. But there's a lot of cards. Most of the cards, their most expensive EX in your deck is maybe $4 or $5.
Yeah, I would say I was actually just about to bring that up. It's a great point. Like you can play, it's very affordable, guys, to build a deck and play Pokemon comparatively, especially to other TCGs. A lot of people don't like the full arts. You can get a lot of full art cards for like $2 or $3 if you want to
Right.
bling out your deck and make it look nice. I used to run a one of full art Latias EX in my Miraidon build because I found it easier when I was prize checking to find that full art versus like a blended EX with all the other regular EXs. I could just easily, real quick, like tell if my Latias was prize or not. That's a great point to like your point, Mike, with the gold cards. Back before this craziness with Mega Lucario and Gardevoir gold cards, and now the Mega Charizard gold. Gold cards were like $5 each, and you could
Right.
easily get like a $15 play set of, I don't know, nest balls. I'll just use that. I don't know if that's how much they are. I'm just using an example. But if you wanted to have gold specific item cards in your decks, you could price check for those more easily. Just quickly see if like, okay, 1, 2, 3, all three of my golds are in the deck. I know I have them. There's different ways to make it easier to play as well. But in saying that, the only reason I bring that up is not only so that you can price check quickly as you learn the game, but also to let you know that like you can still bling out your deck with some fairly cheap cards. It's not hard to do. And
Absolutely.
to Mike's point, you don't have to. If you really just want to go bare minimum, you could easily build a deck for 25, $30. No problem.
Right.
A lot of the times you can
Most
get like a $16 level 2 battle deck, and that has like 75% of the cards you would need to build your own deck, anyways.
Yeah, I'd actually even say the league battle decks, the level threes, a lot of those are ready to go. Like they're very, very close to what you start to see as the championship decks. Trying to think of what the current one is. Um,
So level 3,
I think there's
didn't
two.
they just drop like a Mewtwo level 3 deck that didn't make any sense because Mewtwo
Rock
was terrible?
Rockets
Team Rock.
Mewtwo or something.
Yeah.
I think the one before that they had that was a little better.
Dragapult was the most recent one that was like
Yeah,
that one, but that one hit the secondary market and got stupid real quick. It was like the $80 league battle deck for no reason.
but there are ways to do it. If you don't want to go that way, you can go on to. I'm sure Pokey Beach has deck lists. There's a planet you can go and find what the meta deck list is from the last.
Limitless TCG. We talked about that. Great resource, guys. Limitless TCG will show you all of the most recent tournaments in the U.S. and Japan, because Japan has them a little more often than we do. Um, that will have the standings of what won, what got top 8, and then it has like a little icon you can click that will literally show you the deck list of that specific deck. Like if you see like you're like a huge Zoroark fan and you see a Zoroark made top 8 and got like 6th place at the event over in Japan, you can click on the little icon and it will show you that Zoroark list for you to be able to build yourself and tweak however you want. But TCG, Limitless TCG, excellent resource for you guys if you want to learn how to or if you want to build specific decks.
I'm going to pin on our YouTube video. I'm going to pin all of the links to these places down below so you guys can go there right away. Uh, just go through, look through it, and you'll start to see what we're talking about of whenever they put these cards out and say, okay, well, it's Gardevoir EX. Typically on the sites that price how much it's going to be, they're going to use the base EX version. So you can really get a good idea of how much it's going to cost. And to be honest with you, a lot of the deck is commons and uncommons that are bulk bin variety stuff. There's going to be some standard item cards that you're going to use in every deck. I tell people if you go into a shop and they have a bunch, get like 10. Get 10 nest balls just for you to have if you want to play in person. You're going to use them. Get 10 Ultra Balls. Get 10 Arvins. These are all cards that you're pretty much going to use in every style deck. And if you use the same sleeves, whether it's Dragon Shield, Ultra Pro, whatever, if you have a bunch of the same sleeve, you can easily just transfer them between decks and just make sure that you're good to go when you go to whatever event you go to.
Yeah, 100%. Limitless also will tell you when you look at the deck list how much the deck costs. It'll
Mhm.
give you like an average pricing. I don't know if you said that or not. I was sorry, I was distracted.
No, I was just saying that they'll probably give you the base EX version of.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, it'll be the minimum rarity price point. But the I did find the level 2 battle decks that dropped before that were the Steven Metagross and
Mhm.
Marty Grimmsnarl. Metagross not so much, guys, unless you just want the promo in there. But Marty's Grimmsnarl pretty viable competitively. A lot of good cards in that one. It's a level. Those are both level 2 decks that you can
I
pick up.
will say the Marnie's Grimmsnarl deck I think did go up a little bit just because that Marnie's promo in it
Oh,
is
did it?
that's a that's the only way you can get that. And
That
that's
makes
one of the
sense.
things I'm not a big fan of them doing with this new Mega Gengar deck. You get
Yeah,
Haunter, which is going to go a little bit high. But I will say I have seen on uh, eBay and other sites, there are ways to people are selling these decks minus the illustration rare card. So you can go and get just the box and they just pulled the illustration rare card out because that's all they wanted. And they don't want
okay.
the
Yeah.
deck. And you can get yourself a cheap deck and it's ready to go. Grimstar is a fun deck to play. It is very annoying to play against, but it
Yeah, it
it is
is.
it is
That's
a solid.
sniping.
Yep, it is a solid deck that's I mean, I wouldn't call it top meta, but it's competitive.
Snipey snipes.
Um,
Um,
just to kind of sum it up so far, you need a playmat, you need some sleeves for your deck, which you're going to put your deck in before you get there. And one of the other things you're going to need is some dice
dice.
and a coin.
Most play stores will have dice available. So don't stress about the dice as much. But if you have dice from an ETB or some other product that's laying around, go ahead and bring it just in case. But most stores will just be like, yeah, here's a handful of dice you can use. Or the person you're playing against will have dice that typically they'll share with you. It's not as big of a deal. But yeah, if you want to be fully prepared to make sure all the bases are covered, you will need some dice just for damage counters. Not dice like a regular 6 pack of dice, like the ones that have the numbers, like you get from an ETB. That way you can do your damage counters as you're spreading damage or as you're playing the game.
Absolutely. But yeah, if you come with those things, you can go and have a good time. Most stores will have specific nights dedicated to different games that they play on those nights. So you can have kind of open play at least one night a week at most stores. So find what that is at your local store. Just go in, say, hey, I've got a deck, and there's probably going to be a bunch of people looking to play against you or anybody else. Make some new friends, bounce some ideas off of them. That's part of the fun of this game is we're all learning this game together because it is ever changing with new stuff coming in. So adjustments happen and people are ready to talk about what you did and you can talk about what they did and maybe get an inspiration for another deck for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more.
So next coming up is, I mean, what do we got? 2 weeks for Phantasmal Flames to come out?
Yeah, so here's where it gets kind of interesting. We just went in a whole spiel about pre-release events. So pre-release events, guys, only happen for main series sets like Phantasmal Flames and Mega Evolution. Specialty sets like Black Bolt, White Flare, 151, Prismatic Evolutions. These sets do not have pre-release events, and the reason I bring that up is because the next set we're getting is going to be Mega Dream. Um, I don't know what the English version of that set is called yet. I think it's Mega Dream in Japanese versus English. But anyways, that'll be our specialty set for the holiday season this year. Typically, Japan will do a high class set at the end of every year. Last year, it was Prismatic Evolutions Terrestrial Festival. This year, it's Mega Dream, whatever it's going to be called in English. So we're not going to have another main series set for at least another 2 months, maybe 2.5 months. I would expect early February would be the next time you'll see a pre-release event come up locally for you to go to, unless you have a local that is dropping a week early pre-release event for Phantasmal Flames. You can still catch this week. If they are dropping one this week, it'll more than likely be like on a Wednesday or Thursday night. That's typically if they're doing it a week before instead of 2 weeks before. They do it usually in the middle of the week. But yeah, I would check that first. But if you can't make a Phantasmal Flames because it's just you missed the boat or whatever happened, the next round probably will be like early February when we get our next main series set. So don't expect pre-release events for Mega Dream coming up in the holiday season because it is a specialty set and there won't be like booster boxes or anything like that. There's strictly ETBs and booster bundles, ancillary products.
What do we think? What do we think about this Phantasmal Flames set? Is this going to be another Obsidian Flames? As we've said, the hit rates we think are going to be pretty good, but I have a feeling that this is going to be almost a repeat of
So
Obsidian.
So there's a couple things with this, right? We're living in a different time and space than we were when Obsidian Flames dropped. That's just the reality of it. The market was not like this when Obsidian Flames dropped. For you guys who weren't around for Obsidian Flames, there was another Charizard in that set called, not called, but by Akira Igawa that was a very hot ticket out the gate, $300 card, off rip pre-sale, ended up being around $50. Just recently started going back up to like 89, 90, somewhere in there, I think. Um, but yeah, that was a different time than what we're living in now. So I do think when you're comparing Phantasmal Flames, I don't want to just compare it to Obsidian Flames, but I would say that Phantasmal Flames is the Obsidian Flames of this era. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is that Obsidian Flames comparatively to Twilight Masquerade would be like Phantasmal Flames comparatively to Destined Rivals or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you have to compare them to other sets in their own block, in their own time and era. And I would not be shocked if the SIR Charizard, I think because of the artwork by Don Chow in this is so good that it's probably still going to have some value around like $80 to $100 down the line. A little better than what the Obsidian Flames Zard did. But there's another caveat here that we haven't talked about that we aren't taking into effect. There's a lone gold Charizard in Phantasmal Flames. Mm-hmm. Obsidian Flames did not have that.
They had a gold Charizard.
Yeah, but not, you know what I mean?
Not this.
Not the lone gold Charizard like this set has, where it's a 1 in 1,200 pack rate of pulling. Um, so here's how this affects things, in my opinion. Single prices will be very cheap for SIRs. Sealed product prices are going to stay the same. There are still going to be $300 booster boxes because that gold Zard is going to maintain the value of the set overall to where people will want to pull it bad enough that they're going to pay $300 booster box. Which, by the way, guys, I don't get the gold craze. I don't like personally. I would much rather have the Gardevoir SIR than the Mega Gold Gardevoir. I would much rather have the Mega Lucario SIR than the Mega Lucario Gold card. I don't know. They just don't look that great to me personally. I don't understand why everybody's losing their minds over it. I think it's because of the Chrome Black Bolt White Flare cards and how hard they were to pull, and now these gold cards are like gold Chrome cards, and like that's where we're getting this like gold craze all of a sudden. But I don't get it, Mike. I don't know. I don't think the gold cards look very nice. I'd much rather have the Don Chow SIR Zard for please let it be like a $60 card in like 2 weeks because of how many are going to be out there. If not, then it is what it is. But I'd much rather have that card than the Gold Zard, brother. In my opinion, that's just
I,
me personally.
I agree. I feel the same way about Mega Evolutions with the Gardevoir and the Lucario. I don't know why this is happening. I think you're right. It has to do with the chromes, but I golds have never been something people really go crazy over. Um,
No,
if you look at let's just go back to Obsidian Flames because it's easy because it's a Charizard. The Charizard at 50 or now 80 and the gold Charizard hasn't moved. It's been $20 this entire time. But technically when you go down to it, the rating of difficulty to pull, the golds are harder. People just didn't like them, so they weren't as valuable. But that's what I don't understand. These don't look any better than any other gold. I think they're just okay, but you can't tell me that it's just because they're harder to pull. They
I
also
know.
have to look cool. And I'm not the biggest fan of the monochromes either, but they look better than these golds do. I kind of got those.
Yeah,
Especially the
100%.
red Victini. Red card is wild, but these I don't get it. I really
It's
don't.
like, dude, like look at the golds from Crown Zenith. Like
I'm
those
not
are
even.
incredible. Those are so good. Like you told me those are $1,000 cards, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. I understand that. But you just throw like a 5 band graphics Charizard on a card, and it's like, okay, now it's suddenly, I don't know, man. I'm with you. I don't get it. I
Yeah,
I I can't wait. I hope eventually we get SIR gold cards again, like we had in Crown Zenith, because those were phenomenal. I really hope they bring something like that back.
I agree. I think those were. I think Crown Zenith did the alt art SIR or whatever you want to call them, better than pretty much any other set we've
So
had.
good, so good.
I mean, I'm sitting here staring at a Darkrai uh,
Yeah,
from V-Star Universe. Beautiful card. Um, and then you go to SIRs now, which these were good from Terastal, but even so, I still think Crown Zenith beat it with what they were doing. I
I
kind of
agree.
like that a lot of the cards from Terastal almost felt like they had a theme of tapestry style art, which was cool. But
Yeah, that's true.
overall, it's hard to not give Crown Zenith the credit. But I don't understand, like you're saying, why are we doing these CGI, AI, whatever you want to call them, companies that we're talking 5 band graphics and a few of those others that are just it's a generated Charizard and then they slap it on a card. I haven't looked to see who's doing these new ones, but I mean, there's not really a lot of art involved in it.
I haven't looked either. I'm pretty sure they're
Versus,
all 5 band graphics though.
I wouldn't be surprised. But then you go, the price difference to the SIRs makes no sense at all to me. Um, I don't think that's going to maintain. I really don't.
It
I could
depends on
be,
how hard they make them to pull. Because if you take that gold Zard and you make it the same rates as an SIR, I guarantee you it's not a $1,000 card.
yeah, I guess we're gonna have to see. initial reports I saw out, I just saw one video. I haven't verified anything, and obviously it's very hard to verify because we're looking at only pre-release events and people who are opening product early who can, by the way, get in a lot of trouble for doing that.
Wild card round. What do you think the next Pokemon gimmick's gonna be?
All right, so
What when we get Gen 10? What's the next terrestrialization gimmick we're gonna get? What do you think?
so
They're gonna shrink them down to like mini Pokemon and have them, have them fight.
no, because I mean, if you look at it, we went from Mega to VMAX to Terrastalize. Um, we're revisiting Mega again. I'm guessing that we're going to have some form of like I don't know. The thing that comes to mind is like some kind of reversion of this. I'm thinking like some kind of special species, like Delta species in the game or in the card game, was never really explored uh, in the video game itself. But I wonder if we're gonna have some kind of like this is an Espeon, but this is some special Espeon that you can only catch at night or something. That's like a hybrid dark psychic type that's like half Umbreon, half like I think we're gonna have a lot of special, kind of like how they did with Rockruff to Lycanroc, where it's
Oh yeah,
time of
different
day
like
evolutions.
yeah, like Gardevoir Gallade kind of thing.
Right.
Um,
I think we're just gonna have some more of that. I don't think we're gonna have another big gimmick yet.
so here's what I think the gimmick's gonna be. It's called Winds and Waves, right?
Right.
I think it's gonna be all weather based.
Okay. So like a
So
Castform affected.
yeah. So like you'll have specific weather moves dependent on the terrain or whatever, and like that will give like an added benefit. So like if you're in like uh I don't know, a volcano doing a Pokemon battle, all your fire Pokemon are going to be enhanced with like extra boosted because of the terrain they're in, kind of thing. I think it's going to be something like that. Or if you're like out in the ocean or a lake or something, water types will get enhanced, and like it'll be a weather based gimmick. I think.
I mean, we kind of
Like
already.
they kind, I know they kind of did that in the past, but I think it'll be more like in your face about it. You know, like it'll be all centralized around that.
Yeah, that could happen. I think it almost has to go with, some form of evolution. Like you can only evolve in that area because, like you said, I mean, you can use the move Sunny Day or Rain Dance and power up the battle for that as you're describing. But yeah, I honestly have no idea. I'd love to see what our viewers think is the next big thing. I don't care how ridiculous it is. Put it down in the comments. Think, hey, I think we're gonna have fusion Pokemon where you can fuse a Mr. Mime and a Jinx and make both of these two idiots real mad.
Oh God, man! Why you gotta put that in my imagination space, bro?
I find it hilarious that both of our least favorite Pokemons have baby Pokemon too that we both also despise.
Oh God, I don't even want to think about it. I've had enough mimery in the past week with all of you guys drawing up those mimes for everybody.
Going back to your quick comment about Mega Dream, uh, I think it's very obvious, and I could be completely wrong, but to me, it's obvious that we're going to be able to get, I think, the Gengar SIR here. Um, One of the cards I have seen leaked, I don't know how true it is, but it looks pretty real, is a really cool illustration rare Jirachi. Um,
Oh, nice. Yeah,
I'm
Jirachi needs some love.
I don't know if you've seen that, but it is a really cool Jirachi. It's just kind of here and the tail of the like wish list behind it. I think we're gonna get some really cool cards here. I'm curious to think where this set's gonna go. Kaylin and I talked about this, and I wanted to bring it up to you. Do you think we start to see integration of shiny cards into regular sets? Instead of just having dedicated shiny sets. So I wonder if we're going to start having kind of like how they do it on TCG Pocket, where you start to throw in a couple baby shiny cards to every set. I think this would be a great set to start doing that with.
I hope so. I don't know if it'll start with this set. That feels like something to like kick off a new block with. So
Yeah.
here's the thing with like the mega block is this is going to be a short block. It's not going to be its typical like 4 year stint, 3 year stint like most of the regular blocks like Sword and Shield, Scarlet Violet. This is more of what we call a filler block We've had like small windows of this in the past where it's been very similar. Um, this is basically our holdover block until Gen 10 drops, right? Which Gen 10 will probably drop in, I don't know, early 2027, I would say. So Mega will probably last this 1 year, and then they'll kick off the next block with Gen 10, next Scarlet Violet era or whatever. Um, so I mean, you know how I feel about the shiny subsets. I don't like the baby shiny cards that much. I would love for them to just make regular cards that have shiny Pokemon in them in the illustrations themselves. Like, I would much rather have that than like a card with just like graphics around it with little stars. Um, I think that's a great idea. I don't think it's going to start with Mega Dream. I don't think personally it's going to start at all in Mega. Period. I think the main focus for this block will be the Mega Evolution as well as new Megas that we got in Z to A. They still have to cover all that. We haven't had any new Mega cards really drop of the new Mega Pokemon that have been introduced. Everyone's favorite, Mega Starmie. You know, who can't wait for that first Mega Starmie SIR to drop, right? Um, but yeah, so I think we got to hit that roadblock first before we make it to the bridge and cross it. You know,
That's fair.
um,
Yeah, I don't need a mega dream of Mega Starmie in my life, so hopefully this is not the set for that. Uh,
Mike's all about the long legs, ladies. Didn't you know? He's a legs kind of guy.
why'd they give it knees? Like, like
That's just anatomy, brother. That's how is it supposed to walk around? You know,
it
or
shouldn't.
run
It
around, I guess.
I don't like it. It doesn't. It shouldn't exist. It's
Stuff
up
of
there
nightmares.
on like I have no problem with Starmie. I'd like to say that Starmie is not a problem. I don't mind Starmie. Mega Starmie, I do have a problem with. Um, I don't
Yeah,
like
I.
anything about it. I think it shouldn't exist, and I thought it was a joke.
So
I
that's your Mr. Mime now,
no, it's still Jinx,
huh? Still
but like
Jinx.
this is just bad. Like I would have rather had a Mega Mr. Mime.
It just feels so lazy, man. They're just like drag the legs and hold and click the legs down,
And I
and
can I can already hear the comments coming in of it's based on this superhero from Japanese
I
culture.
don't care.
I don't care. It's bad.
It's horrible. You
Like
know what? You know what Mega I am excited for is the Mega Drampa. That one looks wicked, dude. Have you
I
seen
like
that one?
Drampas. I like the almost like nightmare feel to it.
Yeah. That, you know I'm a huge Darkrai stan, so like that's right up my alley, brother. When I saw that, I was like, "Dang, bro, Drampa Grandpa going hard, brother.
Yeah,
Let's
and
go."
maybe just maybe we can have it done by your boy Teezero.
Yeah, Teezero, the artist of the week. Let's go. What you know about Teezero, Big Mike? Hit me with it.
I know quite a bit about Teezero. Teezero is one of my favorite artists, and when we're getting down into the best cards by Teezero, you to me you have to go to Temporal Forces,
Hell yeah.
where you find the Ancients done by Teezero. You have the Gouging Fire, you have the Walking Wake, and you have Dalton's favorite, the Long Neck Raikou, the one and only Raging Bolt, which, you know, it was pretty cool to see that card featured so much because Raging Bolt was such a prominent deck for such a long time
One of
that
my favorites.
I think it did give a lot of interest to that card that wasn't there before. But
How can
it
you not, dude? With this lightning storm and everything, like you must be blind if you don't think that's one of the heaviest hitting SIRs in all of Scarlet Violet. That thing
to
is wicked.
to me, it's actually not my favorite from the three. I
Oh,
actually
really?
I had put Raging Bolt as number three.
Really?
I think all of them are three of the best. Period. I am not, you know, saying that any of them aren't great, but to me, the Walking Wake is my favorite. The blue avatar vibes of just
Yeah.
the luminescent plants around it, and honestly, the Gouging Fire almost feeling like something out of Carnival, out of Brazil. Just so much color, so much emphasis on design. I think the teaser really captured each of the elements of the Pokemon themselves and just transcended that into the art. Um, it- I can't think of a better use of art of from the Scarlet and Violet era. Personally, I think those are three of my favorites, hands down.
Yeah. I'm with you with the gouging fire. The gouging fire was my least favorite until I pulled it. And when the light hits it just right, you can see the sun rays coming down through the treetops over the gouging fire. It's just beautiful. Um, Personally, though, okay, so what's your favorite Teezero art out of all the Teezero arts? Would you say it's the Walking Wake out of all of them?
Out of all of them, it's close. I'd say that's probably, yeah, I'd probably put it as my number one, I think.
What would you think mine is? Because you know I'm always been a big Teezero stan.
If it's an alt art or SIR, it's, I don't know. I'm also, oh man, the Monkey Dory is really good, but I don't,
Monkey Dory's got heavy Walking Wake vibes.
it does. Maybe that's why I'm so interested in it. Is it the, it's not the Hydra Apple, is it?
No, no, that's my least favorite
Yeah, that
actually.
one doesn't seem like them. Um, Honestly, I can't pick one out of this. What set is it from? Because I'm just,
If
you
I tell
guys
you
were
the set,
tell me.
there's only one Teezero card SIR per set. You can't just ask for the set.
I
I'll
mean,
just tell you. All right, so number two,
oh my god, I know what it is.
number two for me is the Umbreon V from Evolving Skies.
Yeah, yeah.
Which personally I like more than the VMAX. I think it's a way better artwork. I just think it's so sick the way Umbreon's just kind of lording over his minions in the alleyway with the moon behind him. Love that artwork.
I feel like
Awesome
such
banger
an
card.
idiot right now.
My number one favorite T0 card is Kieran from Twilight
Kieran.
Masquerade. Yeah.
Wow, now I don't feel like an idiot. I wouldn't have guessed that.
I
No, that's
love the
beautiful.
Kieran festival blur effect in the background with the other people with the Pikachu masks on. Just one of my favorite, most heavy hitting, beautiful. It just sucks you into the scene. It kind of gives me like, this is like a little weird and a little off topic, but it kind of gives me like Pennywise dairy vibes. Like there's something kind of just eerie about it with the caramel
Mhm.
apples and like just like the, if you guys haven't seen, it chapter one or chapter two, there's a couple scenes where they're at carnivals and stuff. And it just gives me that vibe of just like the busyness of it and everything. It's got like a darker tone to it. I just love that artwork so much. That is my favorite Teaser Road card. What did you think it was?
Celebi.
Oh yeah, Celebi. That's number three. Fusion Strike. Favorite Fusion Strike card for sure. Yeah, Celebi is the best alt art in Fusion Strike. Fight me.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Especially if you played Sword and Shield and went to the area that is illustrating. It's so well done. It fits so perfectly, and
Yeah.
it's one of those that I kind of wish was a TCG Pocket immersive card just to like
Oh yeah,
show
that'd
the
be
whole
sick.
area because it does such a good job at.
Like the little fairy lights in the tree almost give this like lamppost lighting kind of vibe to it. Like it's,
Mhm.
yeah, very very cool card. I love that card. I'm looking at it right now. It's a beautiful card. So good.
Yeah,
That,
we
I could never pull that card. I actually had to buy that one. I think I got it for like $35 back in the day.
yeah, it wasn't much. It was very reasonable for what it is. But the reason that T-Zero is our featured artist of the week is because of Phantasmal Flames. We have a new T-Zero card coming out in the
Yes,
ETBs.
that's right. The Charcadet is the featured promo for Phantasmal Flames ETBs. It is by T-Zero. He is ready to rock and roll and get in the octagon, and he's just taking it all in there in the crowd with everybody else. And I personally really dig the card and the vibes from it. I think T-Zero nailed this one. It kind of puts you in the place setting of going to your first baseball game as a kid or event, like sporting event like that, and just taking it all in and really like trying to figure out what's going on in that arena. So I personally really love this card. I think he nailed it, and I'm kind of biased though because T Zero's my second favorite artist in all of the TCG. So I
Yeah,
don't know your thoughts.
I'm very happy with it. I don't think this is going to be one of those cards that's super valuable in the end of the day. I don't think Charcadet gets enough love. I don't think Armarouge or Cerulege really does either, but we've had a lot of love for both of those recently, especially Cerulege. So it's nice to see Charcadet get something. This is one of those I don't think it's going to go down in the realm of bad ETB promos such as Pecharunt, which once again very
Yeah,
underrated.
or like Ogre
Um,
Pod in the
or the
Twilight.
Ogerpon, another very underrated. But I do think this is one that kind of goes under the radar just because of the Pokemon that it is. I think this is one that if you want to add it to your collection, give it what, a week or two after Phantasmal Flames drops. Get yourself a sealed one, get yourself an open one. This is one of those that's, I think in 4 or 5 years, people are going to look at it and be like, wow, that's really cool. I didn't even know about this card.
Yeah, I agree.
Very, very cool. I love the sports vibes, especially as sports fans like we are. It definitely hits home a lot more than I would expect.
Isn't it interesting how the most recent generation of Pokemon never really gets a lot of love until the next generation drops? So, like when Gen 10 drops, suddenly all these Gen 9 Pokemon will be fan favorites, and I guarantee you Charcadet will be one of them.
Yeah.
But like it seems to always be that way where everybody just kind of hates on the newest Pokemon because they're not familiar enough with them. But then as soon as the next newest Pokemon drop, suddenly there's like fan favorites all across the board in Gen 9. It's
Right.
like it's just kind of isn't it kind of weird how that happens? I don't
It,
know.
it almost, as we've talked about before, does provide a bit of relief in the TCG, though, because when this new base set inevitably drops for whatever it's going to be called, um, it's going to be. I'm sick of saying it's going to be our lull because it's just not been. But I think eventually it will be, because if you look at Scarlet and Violet when it came out, nobody really wanted anything to do with a lot of these Pokemon apart from a few, and the few that they really liked didn't get any love. Because in Scarlet and Violet, the base set Pokemon did not get their love until Paldea evolved. Um, one of the popular ones, Lechonk, didn't get any love until Obsidian Flames. The only one that really did was Armor Rouge, and nobody really wanted to buy it. I think it was under $10.
Yeah, it was like Armors and then Miraidon, Coridon, right?
Yep.
Like yeah, it's
But
interesting.
all of them were pretty low, and all of them are excellent. Um, they're all top end in my opinion. Especially Miraidon. I think Miraidon's a great, beautiful card.
Yeah, I think Miraidon is super underrated, and if you haven't picked that card up, you should definitely grab it while you can because it's still only like 25, but maybe 30 now. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that card's been sitting there hovering around $20 forever. That card is one that I just not even from a value standpoint, just from an artwork standpoint, like you should get that card while you can for your collection
Is that
for sure if you don't
Nagamiso
have
that
it.
did it?
The Miraidon?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I think I did.
Miraidon Nagamiso did the I'm pretty sure the Armor Rouge illustration rare though from Scarlet Violet base.
I
Um,
think I have one nearby here. Yeah, I do. It was Kentaro.
Kintaro, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful card, beautiful colors. Great
God,
price.
such a good looking card. Knocked that one out the park. I love the little donut dog staring up at him through the
Yeah.
window too. Yeah,
Yeah, I love, the little details that went into the Scarlet Violet base set cards. There was a lot of really well done stuff. So definitely something you can go look for. I don't think there's any T0 cards that are of note in that set, but there's a lot of really awesome ones that you can grab for still a reasonable price. So hopefully we see that kind of reset when this new base set comes out eventually next year, year after, somewhere in that
yeah,
range.
yeah. I'm hoping so.
All right, everyone, that's our time for today. Thank you, Captain Jack, for being here, and thank you, everyone, for sticking around with us and enduring not having us for a week here. We know you can't deal without having Captain Jack for too long. Um, we love the continued support, and we hope that you guys can take a lot from this episode. Hopefully, if one of your local stores has a chance to do a pre-release event before this video or anything goes up, you can get a chance to do it. Or hopefully now you feel confident to the next time that one does come out, you can go and give it a good shot.
That's right. Hopefully, you guys got a lot from this lesson today. And lesson today, I messed that up.
It's a
Hopefully, you
lesson.
guys got a lot from this episode today, is what I meant to say. And yeah, we will catch you on the next one. And Mike, love you, brother. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I look forward to next week and catching up again.
All right. Keep chasing, everybody.
Later, guys.